Welcome to It's Janice, a show that supports women-owned businesses and minorities, a resource for the community. Listen in as Janice speaks with business leaders, innovation creators, entrepreneurs, and industries that support entertainment, politicians, and sports.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to this segment of Talking with Janice with me, your host, Janice McLean-Deloach. Today, I'm joined with my guest, Stephen F. Bryant, who is a certified divorce financial analyst. His company is called Synergy Divorce Solutions. Hi, Stephen. Welcome.
Hi there, Janice. How are you doing today? Thank you so much for having me.
I am glad that you could be here. I'm really looking forward to getting into some of the questions and information. But first, I want to start with just a little bit of background. You are a certified divorce financial analyst and a Series 65 licensed investment advisor. You concentrate in divorce settlement analysis. You are also trained to be a financial neutral in the collaborative law system. And you chose to focus your practice on divorce settlement analysis after your own personal experience. Would you tell me a little bit about your own personal experience that made you choose this type of law?
Yeah, absolutely. And so to make a very long story short for you, when I was going through college, I actually went to college to become an attorney. I was a pre-law major in college, and the first week in my college career, my parents gave me a call and said, "Hey, we're going to go through a divorce." I didn't know what I was really in for or anything like that. I didn't know much about the divorce process at the time. 4 long years later and $500,000 in legal fees later, my parents settled on my birthday, my senior year. Wasn't even child custody involved. All they were arguing about is the finances. And so what happens many times in the divorce process is a lot of the times there are not financial professionals involved. So all the time people want to know that they're going to be financially secure, that they're receiving what's called an equitable settlement, which means a financially fair settlement. They want to see that with all the supplement data and with everything proving that they're going to be okay. So what my job is to come into the divorce process as a financial expert, show spouses, here's what your income, budget, assets, and liabilities are, with the backup information to support in order to provide them peace of mind from a financial perspective and show them what a fair split or equitable settlement agreement is going to be in order to save them time, money, and of course, the stress that comes with it throughout the divorce process.
Yeah, it sounds like it is really stressful. And when you say 4 years, that's a really, really, really long time.
Yes, it is. And, I think a lot of why I like to share my story is because people don't know how frustrating and how difficult the divorce process is. And me being a child of divorce, to see my parents have to go through that and, and see them all stressed out for that long of a time and everything like that. And the root of the reason was they were strictly arguing about finances and there was no financial professionals involved. And so my father is actually a financial advisor as well. And my mother is very good with numbers. So you had two very, very financially savvy people in this divorce process. And I get calls in college from them saying, "Hey, I don't know, we can't settle. We can't figure out the finances. We're wasting all our money and everything like that." And so it really fell into my lap, for lack of a better term, when I left college. But there was definitely a need for a financial expert, not after the divorce process, not after you're settled, where you go, "Let me see what you got. Let's see how we're going to make that work," because that's too late. So there needs to be a financial person involved in the divorce process to, first of all, show people what their budgets are and spending and income and everything is. And like I said, it's all about providing spouses peace of mind from a financial perspective. Because when you have peace of mind and you're going to be okay, you can stop arguing and you can move on with your life, which is beneficial for everybody, especially the children. All what my company is about is you don't want to stretch this process out. You don't want to make it bad. You want to maintain a relationship for the children, and unfortunately in my parents' case, it was one of those where, they couldn't even speak to each other after again, till this day. This is not to make anybody feel bad for me. My father actually passed away 3 years ago. Stress-induced heart attack. Divorce killed him. So that's exactly why I do this, is because I've really seen how bad the divorce process can be, the effect that it can have on the family and everybody involved. And so I want to help make the divorce process as much as a better process as it possibly can be.
Wow. Well, that's really admirable. And thank you for doing that, because you really,
Mm-hmm.
I can hear the passion in your voice when you're talking about it. Like you really do feel passionately about helping people and because of your own
Absolutely.
experience.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys offer counseling or any kind of pre-mediation to maybe prevent couples from moving forward into divorce?
So I wouldn't say that we provide any type of counseling, because I'm no type of counselor or therapist or anything like that. And what we call it is, divorce consulting, or just like you said, divorce planning. A lot of times people just want to know about the process of divorce. What's the first step should I take? What are the forms that I need to fill out and everything like that? And so obviously, me being a financial professional, I can't give any legal advice. So that's the second part of my company. The first part of my company is me doing the financials and everything. But the second part of my company, Synergy Divorce Solutions, is having resources for my clients throughout this divorce process that they'll need. Do you need a family law attorney? I have one for you. Do you need a financial advisor? I have one for you. Business valuation expert? I have one. So any type of person that they would need involved in the divorce process, I need to make sure that I can have them for my clients, because I know it sounds funny, but the last thing you want to do, especially with these times in COVID and all this craziness
Right.
going on, is
Yeah.
have to, interview 3 to 4 attorneys. It might cost you $1,000 just in, fees, just to talk to them and everything like that. And so with me, I say, hey, I hear some attorneys I've worked with before. They'll take great care of you. That instills confidence in my clients, and they're able to, my great resources, obviously, who I work with, are able to take them from there.
Okay. So here are some rates. Divorce rates soared during the first 4 months of COVID-19. A combination of pandemic stress, including unemployment and quarantine, possibly have contributed to the uptick. There were a 34% increase in sales for divorce agreements. Wow, 34% compared to 2019. Interest in divorce spiked approximately 3 weeks after most states implemented lockdown orders. This is not funny, but I mean, 3 weeks when people were ordered to actually be at home with their spouses or be in the house with their partners. Would
Yep,
you tell me a little bit about how the process has changed since COVID-19 when you do
absolutely.
have to file for a divorce in court?
Yes, and so obviously how the process has changed is the courts are being delayed. And so with that being said, it's very, I think it's better. It's actually, it affects people two ways. Now, people's divorce process are being delayed because the courts are backed up and they're having a harder time getting, mediation sessions and getting to court sessions and everything like that.
Right.
But where I like to think about it is, it's actually opening up more time for spouses to settle outside of court, which is what everybody really wants to do in the first place. Because when you settle outside of court, that's when you save the most money, as well as you have the most control over where your assets go. When you're in mediation, it's you, your spouse, and a mediator controlling over where your assets, liabilities, the support amounts, and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you end up in trial, you then rely on a judge to say, hey, here's where your assets are going. This is where the support amounts are going to be, and everything like that. So not only is litigation more expensive for clients and spouses, but it also, you get less control of that hard-earned retirement accounts and everything that you've worked for over the last. So the last thing that you want to do is have your hard-earned money and you have zero control of where it's going to go. That's when you don't feel comfortable at all, and that's when people really, really start to fight and argue about the finances, and that's when it gets really pricey.
Okay, is there a way to make the process a little less costly for people? Because that seems to be an issue prior to going through a divorce, during the divorce, and possibly even after.
Yeah, and what I would say is the way to make the process easier, for lack of a better term, is I would say to be upfront and to not have unrealistic expectations. Because a lot of people in divorce try to hide things from the other side, or try to hide it to get around on people, or anything like that. And
Right.
what people don't know is that information is going to come out. It can be subpoenaed by an attorney or a mediator or something like that. So when people withhold information or go into the divorce process with, I can't even speak with them or anything like that, it's just going to make you're just going to spend your own money, more of your own money going through this. So what I would say, my best advice for people heading into the divorce process is try to work together as best as possible, not only because it'll save you money, but for so many other reasons, like the children's relationships and everything like that. But second off, I think what you need to do is you have to make sure that you have professionals doing what they're professionals at. Like I said, that's what my company is all about. Let's let the professionals, let the attorneys handle the legal stuff. I'll handle the finances as a financial professional. We can bring in therapists and stuff like that to handle the emotion aspect of it. Everybody's doing their part, and it's a great team when everybody's on the same page. It really just gives clients confidence when your attorney, your financial person, anybody else is on the same page, and you're really, okay, we all know what's going on. We all know what the next steps are. We all feel confident. And I know I do not want to sound repetitive, but it's all about, instilling that peace of mind, making sure that your client is okay from a financial perspective, showing them, okay, I'm going
Right.
to be financially secure, so that they don't keep fighting for more and fighting for more.
Yeah. Okay. We are joined with Stephen Bryant, whose company is called SynergyDivorceSolutions.com. For anybody who is coming into the middle of this talk halfway, that is the guest tonight on Talking with Janice. Um, and so, a few more things for you before we go. What should people expect when they come to your office and start the process and are going through the process?
Now, what they should expect is it's going to be an intellectual process. We take things step by step. We don't like to get too far ahead of ourselves, but we work through a process called organize, analyze, plan for the future.
Okay.
In Maryland, in most cases, you're required to submit what's called a Maryland financial statement. It's just a legal form that has your income, budget, assets, liabilities, that's shared with the attorneys, mediators, judges, anybody's involved that's saying, hey, this is my financial information right here. Now, a lot of people don't really build these financial statements with much detail, which is where we come in to help, because everything that is negotiated when it comes to support amounts or everything are relying on this financial form. So you want your spouse and your client to be very, very comfortable with the numbers on the financial form. Most importantly, what this spending is going to be. Everybody in the divorce process wants to know, how much money do I need to be okay? How am I going to be okay? What's my future going to look like? It all revolves around what your future cost of living is going to look like compared to what your income. And you're either going to be making enough money to support your lifestyle, or you're going to be spending too much money. And that's where we come in. And so the first thing we do in the organized phase is we analyze 24 to 36 months of our clients' bank statements, checking, savings accounts, credit cards. And so they can see, look, over the past 26 to 36 months in food and dining out, clothing, travel, car insurance, mortgage, this is exactly what you've spent. It's so much easier to craft what your future spending is going to look like when you're able to see what the past has been. More importantly, you have the backup information to support what you're asking for. In any type of court, you need the backup or supporting evidence to support what you're asking for. So if someone says, hey, I want $10,000 a month, here's my financial statement with no backup, and there's nothing that can support what you're asking for, the other side could be, no way, I don't think you need that much money. If we come to them with a budget analysis that shows over the past 36 months, you have been spending exactly $9,737.66. Here's the proof of it. This is what he or she is going to need to make sure they're living with or going to be able to support moving forward. So that is the organized phase, and that's the most time consuming and tedious phase, but it is the most important phase. Gathering their tax returns, assets and liability statements, everything to prepare them from a financial perspective. So when they move forward with a mediator or with an attorney, I can simply we use Dropbox right now to transfer documents and everything like that. Okay. I can simply drop their information right to the attorneys. Not only does it give their attorneys all their information, but it saves them money from their attorneys having to collect that information for them and everything like that. So that's the organized phase. The analyze phase is when there's actually an offer on the table. We provide reports with graphs that visually show cash flow summaries, projected net worth, income summaries, division of marital property reports that visually show our clients, look, this is going to be the outcome. You are going to be okay. That's why the organized phase is so important, because if everything that goes into this analysis is non-disputable and you're comfortable with it, if you're looking at an analysis that shows you, hey, look, you're receiving a settlement offer that you're going to be okay with, you can stop that fighting, you can sign that settlement agreement, and you can move on with your life. And that's what it's all about. Last phase, plan for the future. As I told you in the beginning of this, whole family business we got going on here. It started with my father and my older brother. Now it's we work with a bunch of financial planners, my closest team being my older brother. What they do is they run our clients complimentary financial plans before they settle that shows them, look, here's what you're receiving. Here's your income. Here's your budget. Here's a financial plan showing you that you have a 92% chance of living this lifestyle until you pass away, and you're going to give $1 million to your children, which is a good thing in the financial world. When you're looking at that and you can see, okay, I am going to be okay, and everything that went into it, you're comfortable and it's non-disputed, you can take that breath. Okay, I am gonna be okay. And I know you spoke a little bit about passion and stuff earlier, and this is really what gives me what I love most about my job is I've sat there when we get to the plan for the future part, worked all the way through this difficult process. Some of my clients have looked at the financial reports and just started tearing up because they were so happy. They go, you know what? I didn't know I was going to be okay. I didn't think I would make it through this process and stuff like that. That's where I get the most gratitude. And that's what I love to do. It's just like you said, help people out, because I know how difficult, how stressful the divorce process is. Most of the reason it's held up and most of the reason it takes so long is because people are fighting about the finances. So it's my job to come in, help people, show them what is going to be an equitable settlement agreement. Again, that means financially fair, in order to save them time, money, and of course, stress throughout this process.
I just really absolutely love you. I just think you are a sweetheart.
Well, thank you so much.
I love, and I'll tell you why. I love people who really, you don't have to question their loyalty to their cause. And yours is so evident to me that you are really passionate about what you're doing. And I'm really glad to see that and hear that. Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit.
Perfect.
In that you have, you talk a lot about financials and that kind of thing. There are a number of people who are doing their own divorces because they don't have any assets or a lot of finances or money to work with. How do you advocate for people who are in this situation? I know just from my own experience, I made a lot of mistakes. So
yeah,
Yeah.
And so, now it's becoming much more prevalent, and that's what, the alternate dispute resolution, that's anything to do with mediation. What you were saying earlier, I
Okay.
am collaboratively trained as a collaborative financial neutral. The collaborative divorce process is two collaboratively trained attorneys, a collaboratively trained financial neutral like myself, and a collaboratively trained divorce coach or a therapist to help with the emotions. Everybody sits in the same room at every meeting. Everybody shares all the same information and everything like that. And what we like to say, we call this the all cards on the table, type of way. And why that's very, very efficient is because people are not fighting back and forth. There's no way you spend that money. There's no way you make that. Everything's on the table. And what most people spend so much money in the divorce process is strictly attorneys communicating back and forth because they
Yeah.
can't talk to each other. And it's really,
Wow.
that and it's that, you're spending $300, $400, $500 an hour just to have someone else talk to someone that you've been married to for 25 years. And so I don't want you to think that I'm not, empathetic to how emotional the process is, because obviously I have been through it, and I know how difficult it is to work together with someone when there's emotions are running so high and everything like
Yeah.
that. But the more you work together, the more it's just going to benefit yourself. And so when it comes to people that might not be able to afford attorney services or my services or everything like that, that's when you're really going to want to look into mediation, and you're really going to want to, do a lot of your own. You're going to want to be very, very comfortable with your spending. So you're going to want to track your bank statements. Maybe, there's a lot of good apps where you can track your spending and stuff like that. Just if you don't have the money, then that's where you're going to have to try to utilize the alternate dispute resolution, resources that are out there most. Absolutely.
Okay. And you said collaboratively. A lot better than I do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Collaboratively trained. There it
Yeah.
is. Absolutely.
Collaboratively trained. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
you need to know that word. I got
Yep.
some time. Yeah, to work on it.
Absolutely.
Now, do you remember the movie The War of the Roses?
I have not seen that movie. No, I have not.
Okay. Well, I really am telling on myself right now when I said that, but I will tell you, in the movie, you have this couple that's married. It's Michael Douglas and Catherine. Gosh, I forget her
I
last
do
name.
love Michael Douglas.
And well, they're in this movie and they're married and they're going through a divorce, but both of them love the house so much that they refuse to leave the house. Neither one of them wants to leave the house. So what you see is them essentially destroying the whole house because they're trying to get the other one out of the house. So I bring this up because I want to know, how do you advise people when you have situations like that?
And that's where I'm going to sound repetitive again, but that's why it's so important when it comes to the financials to have all the numbers and everything on the table and being able to have that information present, because you are absolutely correct. It could be the best marriage in the world. I don't care who you are. When you're going through a divorce process, you're probably not going to trust your spouse. And that's nothing bad towards any spouse. That's just how divorce is. And so that's why you have to have all this stuff, as I said, on the table. Because, you could say, look, I know what my spending is. Look, this is my spending, but the other spouse is not going to trust your word. So you need to have financial backup information, some type of supplemental information to add to show what you're asking for. Because, and like I said, it's nothing towards spouses or anything like that. You're not going to trust the other side in the divorce process. So that's where it's so beneficial to make sure you make sure you have all the correct information in front of you when you make your decision.
Yeah, I hear you. And trust really is, it's an interesting thing at that point, I'm sure. For the record, the movie is Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas, and it's called The War of the Roses. This is really
I'm gonna
like a
write
shock.
that down. I'm
Yeah.
gonna write that down
So
right
this is
now.
a good movie to tell your clients to watch.
Uh-huh.
So they may actually reconsider going through a divorce. So, I don't know, who knows.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to talk to you about too was, child support. And do you offer consultations to decide whether or not people need to go ahead through with a divorce?
So, and that's kind of where our divorce planning comes in. So, one of our services called divorce planning, and this is where we initially meet with spouses. We say, "Hey, what's your situation?" Most spouses just don't know that there are other ways to get divorced, like mediation or like collaborative divorce or anything like that. So that's where we kind of say, "Hey, what's your situation? Can you guys even speak to each other?" Some people come to me before they even talk to attorneys or anything, and they go, "Hey, look, we know this process can be costly. We don't want to go anywhere near a courtroom. We're willing to work together 100%. Can you help us out?" And that's where I would say, "Oh, you know what? Mediation is going to be perfect for you guys because, all the mediator's just a third party sitting there. Really, he's going to just help you. He or she is just going to help you figure out most of the stuff from a legal perspective. I can help you with the financial stuff, and we'll be able to write it up and go ahead with that." So, but then some people come to me, whether it's right in the beginning of the divorce process, maybe they're 18 months in, and they're saying, "Look," so I've had people come to me with a month left in their process and say, "Hey, I need you to come in. I need you to analyze this to make sure I'm getting my fair share." So I've really worked anywhere between right in the beginning, before spouses have even talked to attorneys or anything like that, and all the way up until right at the very end, I can come in. And so I can work with both spouses as a financial neutral, as we talked about earlier, where I can work with one spouse and their attorney. It's just that I've been involved in divorce process right from the start, where I can come in right at the end. So I'm not here to say, "Hey, I can do everything," but I've had experience in most types of divorces. And that's one thing that I can absolutely tell you that I kind of joke about all the time is, I almost wish that every divorce is different. Every single divorce is different, whether it comes to with the finances, whether it's emotions, everything. Every divorce is specific and different. So you really have to treat every divorce as its own. You can't say, "All right, this is going to be like the last one," or something of that nature, because everyone's different. Everyone has different motives and values of what they want. And so you really just have to make sure that you're just making all your steps there to make sure that your client is comfortable and that your client's going to be okay.
Wow. Stephen F. Bryant, Synergy Divorce Solutions. It's been my pleasure to talk with you today. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers today as we are going through this program and wrapping up our talk today?
Well, obviously, thank you so much for having me. Absolute pleasure being on your show and everything like that. It's been an absolute enjoyment to be able to talk to you and discuss all these things. But no, what I would tell people is that we offer a free consultation. I don't charge for, that's another thing about me. I don't charge for emails or phone calls throughout the process or anything, because I don't want my clients to be scared to call me. So, if you're going through a divorce, there's really no downside of calling. If I can't help you, which I most likely can, I can at least point you in the correct direction, or at least introduce you to someone that can help you or everything like that. So I'm more than happy to talk to people. I never, as you know, as you said, I'm very passionate about what I do. I never feel like I'm wasting time talking to someone or anything like that. So if you're going through the process, if you think we could bring value, or even if you just have some questions about the divorce process, feel free to give us a call. We'd be more than happy to help out and provide any value we can throughout the process.
Okay, and what is your phone number and website?
Yeah, my website is www.synergydivorcesolutions.com. My office phone number is 410-202-8977. My email is Steven, STEVEN, at synergydivorcesolutions.com. That is STEVEN at my firm's name, Synergy Divorce Solutions, janice.com. That's the best way to contact me. And I will always obviously get back to you in the most speedy response I can.
Wow, it has been my pleasure to talk with you tonight. And certainly we'll have you back on the radio the next time to talk about some other topics and questions and trends, if you're up to it. So my pleasure.
Absolutely.
Yep, my pleasure.
It's been my pleasure you having me. And as I said, anything I can do to help anybody you know or anything that's viewing, I'm more than happy to. But I'm more happy that you had me on tonight. So thank you so much. And I hope that you have a great St. Patrick's Day already.
Yes, I forgot St. Patrick's Day.
And I'm gonna watch that movie for you, I promise.
Oh my gosh. We'll have to get one of those guys on with you the next time. How about that?
We'll get Michael Douglas on for us, and we'll start to talk about something like that.
You were joking, but you never know. Maybe they might actually do it. Who knows?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. All right, guys, that wraps up this segment and this edition of Talking with Janice with me, your host, Janice McLean Deloach. Until the next time, bye.